Yo, so Mario Strikers Battle League got a limited demo going on right now for this weekend. You know how ARMS and Splatoon 2 had online demos but were active for a limited time? Strikers Battle League got the same thing. They're dubbing it First Kick. Specific time slots throughout this current weekend will allow you to play co-op online with someone against 2 other people. You could play with the training mode at any time, I'm pretty sure, but that online play is the only active mode in this demo. All the characters are selectable. I did the 7 AM Eastern Standard Time slot for Saturday earlier today, and while playing the game, I wanted to give my impressions of my experience with the demo for the game. I'm a big Mario Strikers fan. I've made several videos up until this point, one in particular far long before Battle League was announced about Strikers, and have been anticipating the game since its announcement. I do have a slight announcement for some of my subs before I forget. I am currently playing through Super Mario Strikers on the channel and wanted to do so for it charged and review both games before Battle League, but given the game comes out next week, I've decided that even when I get Battle League at launch, I'm not immediately going to kickstart an LP on that until I go through the first 2 games and review those at my own pace, one step at a time, to a quality standard I'm comfortable with. Rather than rush those Let's Plays and reviews, Strikers is a series I think deserves plenty of time to cook and simmer and not rush out just for the sake of relevance. Part of it's also factoring all the Sonic information coming this month and whether or not we get a Nintendo Direct and what they announce. It's just a lot going on this month and trying to prep for that with Mario Strikers in that mix too. So a Battle League LP and review will come, but likely much later than anticipated for both parties. Okay, let me talk about the First Kick experience. Short summary, this game is fun. I was fumbling with the control scheme, the button layout, but even when I was struggling trying to understand the controls, the game was still very much a fun time. The physics and control was smooth and solid. There's plenty of layers and tech you have to memorize. The items were chaotic. A lot of stuff was going on. The presentation and style came through very beautifully. Even in under an hour of my playtime with the game, or the demo, I had a blast with what I got to experience. On the button layout, I messed with some training mode during the playtest active hour a bit, and especially while online, the button layout muscle memory from Super Mario Strikers is messing me up plenty trying to play this game. It's like the same issue I had with Mario Kart Tour and Mario Kart 8. Playing the formers made me much worse at playing the latter from the similar yet different controls, physics and mechanics and visuals, but that's specifically a me problem I'll fix, not a fault of the game itself, but it's like an inverse layout of the GameCube one compared to this. B is to pass, A is to shoot, and A is all the way to the right of the controller, while it was this big green button in the center of the GameCube controller. B is at the bottom here when it was all the way to the left before. Lobbing I'm kind of used to, and items I am actually, thankfully. But swapping between characters mid-games also on L rather than the A button when you didn't have the ball in the first game, and I didn't probably take time to master dodging, quick runs, etc. I believe it's safe to assume this, but thankfully I'm fairly sure a lot of people playing this online demo were experiencing similar gameplay struggles. I'm pretty sure the vast majority of us who tried this demo either didn't indulge at all or barely did any of the training mode stuff. So some games dragging out a lot longer than anticipated during my playtime, and a lot of it being a back and forth stalemate was funny to me. But even then, even with that, even when I was still struggling with the controls, I was having so much fun. There was still, even most of my games, most of the time, plenty of moments were still tense and stressful in a fun way. The items, the hyper strikes, being able to stop them if mistimed and mashing A fast enough, timing runs, dodges, tackles, and such effectively. It felt like I was playing a different version of either Super Mario Strikers or Charged. Battle League 100% fits right at home with the rest of the series in its gameplay. It's got the tech, it's got the depth, the tense and chaotic energy and flow. It was just a fun time. And if some competitive scene spawns from this game, I can imagine dedicated players becoming unbelievably cracked at this game. I would definitely want to give it a shot and learn this game on a deeper level, as the deeper you get into either of the other games, it becomes very fun and addictive almost. This game feels very much like that, and it feels like a blend all around in most senses of both games into one. But the gameplay definitely skews more toward the GameCube one. Hyper Strikes doing 2 points, them only coming in orbs that appear occasionally on the field, and mixing extra elements of disorientating opponents when done right, the items being more streamlined and balanced, the fields having no hazards and being purely cosmetic too. Like, it's got that aesthetic, energy, and intensity, but it also feels more balanced and the first one definitely felt more balanced than Charged did, especially on a technical level with the gameplay. That low skill floor, high skill ceiling trait, easy to play / learn, hard to master like both Strikers games, especially Super Mario Strikers, like Smash Brothers. This game definitely gives off that feel, and I think that's going to make for both an attractive pull and an interesting competitive scene if one spawns. Gameplay's wonderful, did not disappoint me at all, and I want to play, learn, and get a taste of more. In line with the rest of the series, still has its own elements and traits that make it stand more on its own too. It was fun. It's really good. The online itself was okay. I experienced one disconnection that killed a whole game barely after it started, and half the games I did have, at least one person disconnected, so that is disappointing that the online might not be up to snuff like Mario Party was. It could also be the format the demo was structured. This demo had you pair up with someone. It was usually a 2v2 game, so 4 people in one lobby, not one-on-one, which I'm fairly sure most would have preferred instead. I don't think the co-op format's one most are going to be keen on. It's good that it's there, it's good that it's an option, but I think the demo should have done either both or just a 1v1 option. There was that, but the online seems functionable, kind of, but does have those hiccups and blemishes other online Switch games are plagued with, which is unfortunate. Presentation did not disappoint though. That was always a highlight even when I was losing. Picking characters, load screens, startup screens before the game, a lot of subtle tiny animations and nods. Mid-game, most will miss while playing because of so much going on. The hyper strikes, winning games, losing games, getting goals, being at a major deficit. There's a boatload of charm and expression on display. It's that trademark Next Level Games animation quality and Strikers' trademark personality and expression. Every character, so adorable, charismatic, and wonderful to watch. Very bouncy, cute. The lip syncing surprisingly super good. There's a lot of voice clips reused from Mario Kart 8. That's for me, they still sound great. I always get a kick out of seeing the cutscenes and animations of these characters out of this game. Next Level, just like with the gameplay, just like they always do with Luigi's Mansion and Punch-Out, did a bang-up job giving all these characters so much charm and life. I love it. The model quality is amazing. I love Donkey Kong's model and the Mario Brothers models. The graphics themselves are mostly very vibrant and colorful, but still have a much more slight, more subtle tinge of that gritty nature. Like, this game does look a lot more in line with other Mario games, not Strikers, but it wasn't exactly as vibrant, as bright and colorful. It is a lot more compared to the first 2 Strikers games, do not get me wrong, but a tiny bit of it still felt somewhat washed out and desaturated a little bit. It could just be me, but I think it has like this subtle grittiness and grossness to the graphics, and it still adds its own slight flair to the game. The soundtrack I hardly got much of a lick of. I'll reserve that for the final game, but they did remix the sudden death theme from Charged, and I did hear the new Super Mario Bros. Ground theme remix, so from what I did hear of this soundtrack, it's not a lot. Trust me, this game's soundtrack might be the best of the 3 once I get around to it. I'm getting a good feeling its soundtrack's not just going to be great, but with all the remixes in store across multiple Mario games, including past Strikers games, it might actually be standout, because outside a handful of Charged songs and the character themes, not many note Mario Strikers games, especially the first, for their soundtrack. A lot of expectations, excitements, aspects, and other things I've talked about regarding this game before are basically to fruition, and I was not disappointed at all with my time with the demo beyond the online hiccups, which are common for Switch games anyways. Even with the disappointment in the roster itself, I felt this before and still feel very much now. That shouldn't persuade you from thinking or believing they slouched anywhere else in this game, or that the game is / plays poorly, or it's unpolished, unfinished. Hell no. This game 100% feels very polished and fun to dive into, and is exactly what you would expect out of a new Mario Strikers like the first 2. After they confirm this game will be getting the same update model as Tennis Aces and Golf Super Rush, more and more Nintendo fans have been expressing their distaste and disapproval of that model, but after my playtime with this game, whether or not it got the update model, I can guarantee you, especially from its gameplay, I feel like this game will outlive both Tennis Aces and especially Golf Super Rush. I don't know how much the update model will go, how much it'll help the game, whether how impactful the characters that will come will be, whether they'll be good picks or not, whether we get more than just characters like field themes, modes, and such, but I do think its gameplay does have strong ass legs with all the depth and tech it has, reminiscent of at least the GameCube one, and between that and how long people have been waiting for for a new Mario Strikers, I at least believe people will be talking about and keep playing Strikers Battle League for a considerable length of time after release. I at least hope so anyways, because even when I was struggling and felt I wasn't playing good, I had a lot of fun. Hopefully the campaign will be competent or efficient enough. Strikers campaign and single player content never really was anything deep or intricate. It usually just had a cup league / tournament campaign, a training mode, and maybe another side thing if we were lucky. I've said this before, this series breathed and died by its gameplay and presentation, always, and both are very strong, very polished, and very charming here, and I do hope the roster becomes much more layered and varied and bigger in the future. Pauline, Toadette, King Boo, Nabbit, Drybones, The Obvious, Daisy, Birdo, Petey Piranha, Bowser Jr., Diddy Kong, Dixie, Funky Kong, King K. Rool, Super Team, EGAD, but beyond that, sole disappointment with the actual game. This is a strong Mario Sports spinoff coming next week, I feel. It's got the gameplay, it's got the depth, the presentation, character, charm, graphics, music. It's still a very fun, engrossing, and entertaining time. I can't wait for the final game to come out. I had a great time with the demo. I encourage you all to try the demo out if you can, and to get the game when it comes out next Friday, both for Strikers fans and for those who've never played a Strikers game before. It's a fun time. Can't wait for next week. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Stay tuned for more Mario content and Mario Strikers content in the near future. Stay super.
哟，嘿，妹妹，嘿，我来呀！共和大哈哈呀！拉面，嘿，来面，白哥面，共和再见呀！哈哈，拉面，上手面，谢谢。